Dave Hall joins us with the Abbotsford Canucks in the second round of the playoffs. And Dave, I'm not going to ask you about that first. I need to ask you about Jonathan Lekkerimaki won the Elite Prospects Award. And it's my understanding that our pal JD Burke over at Elite Prospects wasn't the one who handed it out. It's just called the Elite Prospects Award.
Yes, you got that right.
Okay, so tell me about that award.
Yeah, it's just an award that it's been going on since 2013, and it's awarded to the top junior in the SHL. And this year, with a bullet, he topped out his teammate, his longtime teammate there, Noah Uslin, and it was not too much of a surprise. He led the way in goals, points. Was the MVP of his own team, so it's not too much of a shock. But just added to just another accolade to the long list this year.
Okay, Dave, we're gonna get you to switch your mic real quick because we got you. We got you a new mic. We got you a new mic, right? So we gotta get it set up. No, it's not working. You just gotta go to settings. You'll figure it out. While he does that, Harm, I want to talk about Jonathan Lekkerimaki because Dave wrote this article yesterday at Canucks Army, and he was talking about the guys who have won this award before Jonathan Lekkerimaki, and man, oh man, it is a list. Like Elias Pettersson's won the award. It is a list of players. Like here, I'll literally go through it because Dave listed them year by year. There are some seriously good names on this list. And 2013, William Karlsson. 2014, Alex Wenberg. 2015, Axel Holmstrom. 2016, Gustav Forsling. Ever heard of him? 2017, Joel Erikssonek. 2018, Elias Pettersson, the Elias Pettersson with the Vancouver Canucks. Well, I guess that actually doesn't narrow it down, but the forward, Elias Pettersson won it. 2019, Emil Benstrom. 2020, Niels Lundqvist. 2021, Moritz Seider. 2022, Simone Edvinsson. 2023, Leo Carlsson. And yes, 2024, Jonathan Lekkerimaki. Back in. And yes, Chaz pointed out, we got a brand new mic for Dave. I got to ask you about the Abby playoff run here. Really not watching it, to be honest with you. I've read the Farmies because those go up on Canucks Army. But what's going on in the Abbotsford playoff run?
Yeah, I mean, they made it past Colorado, which is nice. Was it a perfect series? Probably not if it wasn't for the hero and Zach. But it happens with those games, they were outshot all 3 games. So we'll see how it goes. But, overall, they're in the second round. They couldn't have a better matchup in the second round than Ontario Reign. Literally everything from their season split, 4 wins each, their goals against, their shots against, everything was basically right on par with each other. So you can't really, ask for much more of an even series. But if they're here, one thing that I'm still looking for them, and this was even the case in the regular season, is that a lot of their offense, or lack thereof, I guess you could say, comes from the perimeter. Almost like, what we talk about Lekkerimaki, how he's got to get into that middle of the ice. The Abbotsford Canucks got to get into the middle of the ice. And a lot of their plays come from the outside, and they try to get really, really fancy with it. And it just kind of shows in the playoffs where, they kind of get squeezed to the outside, and they just don't have those players, with the exception of a few, that can really make that difference. And you noticed it last night when Vasily Podkolzin gets embedded into the lineup. He comes in, he's instantly driving to the net. He basically, he understands the assignment. He knows that if he wants to get those rebounds, he's got to cut into the net. And with the exception of, someone like a Max Hassan or someone like that, that's not really something we've seen a lot of with Abbotsford. So that's one thing I'm always concerned about. But otherwise, Zach Sawchuk, might as well be Sawchuk, has just been lights out. So
you mentioned a few of Abbotsford's players at least being able to buck that trend, get to the inside, create some offense. Who are some of the offensive standouts? Like I see that Archie Baines has been really productive in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, you can't not say Archie Baines. He's been their guy all season long. He's their guy. Whenever someone's slumping, you put Archie Baines on, and he's contributing. So he's doing all the offensive work. But I can't not say Max Hassan. On a game by game basis, shift by shift almost, he's always the one that's driving the play. He's a natural center. He's grinding for every single puck. His wheels are incredible. As soon as he builds up that speed from his own zone, good luck trying to stop this kid, because he just goes, and he's just got the drive to go to the net. So while Archie Baines has been fantastic, he's the MVP, he's got all these points, it's great. Max Hassan, just for me, I'm constantly drawn into his play, and I just really have this feeling that that type of style is going to, like, Tocchet's going to love that kind of player. So for me, it's just always Max Hassan, and you got to give it to Archie Bains, but Max Hassan's been one of my low key favorites for this season.
Do you think Hassan, whether it's next season or perhaps even the year after, can contend for an NHL roster spot, especially as the Canucks enter a phase where in the offseason they may not be able to keep all of their bottom six forwards?
I mean, I definitely think, does he make it next year? Who knows? We'll see who they bring in, if they do bring in anyone. But he definitely checks off all the boxes that I'm looking for. He's a natural center. He's decent at the faceoff zone. He plays the Tocchet type of hockey where he's not taking shifts off. He's got speed. Like he's one of the fastest, if not the fastest player on the team. So he's got all the intangibles that could take him there. It's just a matter of, does it fit with the lineup or not? So, do I want to say that he's going to make the team out of camp next year? Not. We'll see. He'll be the judge of that, but definitely within 2 years, I don't see why not. I wouldn't be shocked if they want to keep him down and let him stew for one more season to really take that next level next season, because he's got a lot of points this year, specifically at 5-on-5, but it's not like he knocked the socks off this year. So maybe bringing him back for one more year to be that guy would help him out, but I don't see any reason why he couldn't. He's got all the intangibles to do so.
Okay, Dave. I don't want to ask you flat out and make it a super pointed question, but Danilo Klimovich, it's topical. Yeah. We're all seeing what Logan Stankoven is doing with the Dallas Stars in the playoffs. There was a lot of fans saying that they should have taken Stankoven on the day of the draft. This isn't hindsight. This just looks like one of Jim Benning's final blunders as Canucks general manager. Klimovich is never going to live up to that draft hype, and he's never going to outplay Stankoven. I think that's becoming clear. But, what do you look at for Danilo Klimovich right now? What can he become? Give me his ceiling right now. What can Danilo Klimovich become in a best case scenario? What do you think he's going to become, at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's tough because you can't really go off of much this season. He's played in one game since early March, and we have to assume, I've talked to quite a few people that are close with the team, and by all accounts, he's around walking, he's healthy. So it just appears like they're pretty good at being hush-hush, but by all accounts, he's healthy out there. And so, he's been in 24 games this season, but that's also being a little bit generous, because even in those games, with the exception of a couple stretches of maybe 6 or 7, he's been glued to the fourth line. And while they don't show stats for minutes, I would assume they're under 10, because you don't see him out there. He wasn't catching power play time. So it's kind of one of those seasons where you can't even really see how what's happening, what's going wrong. In the times that he has played, I can tell you that while I don't want to call a professional hockey player uninterested, he just doesn't seem to have that emotion that he typically plays with. When Klimovich is at his best, he's a pest out there. He's playing with a lot of emotion, at times too much emotion that gets him into trouble. But at least he's out there throwing his body around, doing what he can to create havoc. And this year, even in the games that he's played, it just hasn't been there. There seems to be just a lack of that fire that we saw so much of last season. And I mean, truth be told, what Stankoven brings, he brings that fire. And that's kind of what you were hoping for Klimovich, because not that they play a similar style, but Klimovich does have that water bug in him, and it just hasn't come around this season. So whether it's a lack of confidence, and now, I mean, obviously the confidence can't be lower than this. He's been glued to the press box. So, he's just an unconfident player. Let's hope that somehow during the offseason he can somehow rekindle that, because we know at the ceiling, he has the potential to be, power play sharpshooter. He's got an incredible release. He can score goals. He's a pest on the puck. So if he can somehow rekindle some of that, that emotion into his game, I think he could, down the line above, like a ceiling, be, a middle six energy type player. But again, that's being pretty generous, but that is what he can be done. If he can get that emotion back into his game, he does have those elements in his game that could bring that third line grinder type of play and maybe chip in with a goal here and there. But as of right now, it's just sort of a, check back and hope and check back next year. You know what I mean? It's been a tough season. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
When you look at a couple of the bigger named deep prospects on that blue line in Abbotsford, Cole McWard, who it's easy to forget now that he made the team out of camp, the main Canucks team out of camp, and looked like he might play some NHL games. And of course, Elias Pettersson coming over from Sweden. What have you seen from those two defensemen so far?
Yeah, so with McWard, I mean, if you've been following me on Canucks Army this year, you know that I'm, and it's not because I think he's going to be, you know, an NHL All-Star, but I really like what McWard has brought, and I do think he has some sort of serviceable, whether it's a 5, 6, 7, even just, you know, that fringe kind of Friedman type player. But he brings a nice versatile game where he's not flashy, he's not going to get a ton of points, but he just doesn't make too many mistakes out there, and he just gets the job done. You know, he's good on the penalty kill, he's a decent enough skater. So for me, all season, it's been Cole McWard. If there was anyone that was going up and down, I would have always liked to see McWard. I just think he just brings just an all-around versatile game that's good for, you know, at most maybe a bottom 6, but definitely something there. Now with Elias Pettersson, unfortunately, he's drawn out of the lineup for the playoffs, and I kind of attribute that just to, you know, experience, and they've got some good experience for the playoffs here, so he's kind of been the odd man out. But I mean, it's hard to argue what he's done on the ice so far. He's pretty much come as advertised. He's playing hard-nosed hockey. He's a bully out there, always making sure that, you know, his opponent's night is a living hell. So he's brought everything that we anticipated, and maybe even a little bit more. You know, we were anticipating maybe some sort of hiccups in the transition, but you know, other than, you know, kind of adjusting to the speed of some of the forwards coming in on him, getting caught flat-footed a little bit, he's been great. And you know, I wouldn't expect him to be jumping up to the NHL next year. Maybe, you know, if he's really come out, you know, midway through the season, maybe he gets a shot midway through the season. But I would definitely anticipate him staying in Abbotsford for next year, just to really acclimate to that speed. But aside from that, I really liked what Elias Pettersson has brought to the game.
Dave, how confident are you in Zach Sawchenko to win the Conn Smythe this year?
26-year-old, 79 games before this, I think. He's never been in a pro playoff game, so he's taking them all the way. He's going all the way.
In all seriousness, he's doing a really good job in Abbotsford, right?
He's doing more than a really good job. Like I said, I don't think Abbotsford wins that first series. Well, no, they don't win the first series if it wasn't for him. He's been pretty much their first star every single game in these playoffs. And even last night when they lost 3-1, he's still a deciding factor. And in that game 3, game 7, game 3, he made 47 saves, stood on his head, not even just 47 saves, 47 really good saves. So he's been all that and more, to be honest. I don't think you can ask much more, especially for a guy that came in getting his first start in mid-March, 6 starts in the regular season. So I don't know. You can't ask for much more.
No, you cannot. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was like 47 saves. That's insane. Anyways, Dave, thanks so much for joining us, man. We always appreciate it.
Sorry about the mic, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
For sure, man. Yeah, appreciate it. Dave Hall. There he is, Dave Hall. And we got the mic figured out. No need to feel bad.
Smooth recovery.
Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.